Solace for the hurting, solace for the hurting, solace for the hurting. My God is solace for the hurting.
Hello, you're welcome to Solace for the Hurting, the program for you, the program for me. We are here today again to share the beautiful testimonies of what God is doing in the life of men. You are there watching us. I know you've been hearing stories of how God has been delivering people. And God is set to deliver you today. So today I have a special guest with me to share a beautiful testimony. So you wouldn't want to miss it for anything. But right now we'll go for a short commercial break and we'll be right back with you on stage. So please don't go anywhere because God is about to do something. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Solace for the Hurting. And I want to bless God for you. Where are your family members? Invite them to come. God is about to share something with us that will blow our mind. I have a special guest with me, a special sister that I love so much, and she has a beautiful testimony to share to the people of God. So be encouraged. Something is about to happen in your life. So today, as usual, my guest is a very special person to me. Her name is Mrs Ediset Ekanem. Mrs Ediset Ekanem, you're welcome to Solace for the Hurting.
Thank you very much.
It's something unique about Mrs Ediset Ekanem. The time we had our widows outreach, she came and did her birthday with the widows. So you can see she has a heart to help those that are downtrodden. And before we go on, I just want to let you know that but God has done something in her life. So you out there, God can still do the same. So please tell us, what has God done for you?
Yeah, God has really been faithful in my life. I have a lot to tell, but I think this one is very striking.
Wow.
That's why I want to share with you and with viewers. 2 years back, precisely on the 7th of April, I won't forget that day.
Wow.
I actually had a church program at Siwa. And then it ended about 6:30 p.m. And after the program, I was heading back home. Just close to my house, I'd entered the entrance to the house. By the corner, I saw a car parked by the corner of the road. I turned and I looked at the car. It was a CRV Jeep. A clean car, so no suspicion, nothing. I drove past the car. I got to the front of my house. There was nobody at home, so I parked. I came out of the car. I was about to open the gate so I could drive in. The next thing I saw was the same car drove and parked behind me.
Wow.
At that point, I turned and I looked at the car. In my mind, I was thinking maybe it's a neighbor or they just came to drop someone.
Wow.
But somehow I was a bit nervous because of similar incidents happened before and in the area where I lived at that time. But that is not where the testimony is. When I got to the gate, there were 4 of them in the car, 2 at the back and 2 in front. The one that was in front came down from his car and then walked towards me when I was about opening the gate. Something just told me this is not ordinary. So the next thing I saw, he advanced towards me. And then immediately, I knew it was a setup. So I ran. When I ran, he followed me.
Wow.
But the good thing is, I have this security consciousness in me that even when I'm in front of my house, I lock my car before, as I leave the car, I lock it before I try to open the gate if there is nobody at home. So I think that's what saved me.
Wow.
Because I had locked the car, I had my car key with me, and the house key. So I had the 2 keys in my hands.
Wow.
So when he followed me up, the street was a bit lonely. It's about 7:26 p.m.
Wow.
Not too late. So I ran into the street. All the houses on the street have gates. It was just one house adjacent to my house that was still uncompleted. There was no gate. So I ran into the house, into the compound. He followed me.
Wow.
When he followed me, I've not entered the house before or the compound. So I didn't know where to run to. But when I entered the compound, I saw an elderly woman who just stood in front of the door, maybe taking fresh air. So I went round and I hugged the woman at the back. The guy came, dragged me out from the woman's back and brought me back to the entrance to the compound and just told me, let me have the car key.
Wow.
So when I opened my hands, seriously, how the car key fell off my hands, I don't know till now.
Wow.
So when I opened my hands, it was the house key he saw in my hands. So he collected the house key thinking it was a car key.
Wow.
And now left me. When I wanted to run again, he dragged me back, collected my wristwatch, collected my bangle, and then brought out a gun in front of me and shot into the air. At that point, he left me, and then he went back to where the car was parked, and I continued running.
Wow.
So when he got to the car, he thought he had the car key. So he tried opening the car. He noticed it was not the car key.
Wow.
It was the house key.
Wow.
So from neighbors that were around, because when he shot the gun into the air, it alerted people that lived around me.
Wow.
People didn't know what happened.
Wow.
So people wanted to come out, but because of the gunshot, they were all held back in their various compounds. But what they heard them say was, why did you collect the wrong key? Why did you collect the wrong key? What kind of fuck up is this one?
Wow.
You know, because of that, they also thought when I ran, I left the key at the ignition.
Okay.
So they got to the car was locked. So they saw a stone on the way, and they now used the stone, broke the side glass, thinking the key was still in the car. So when they opened the car, eventually they broke everything, all the glass were down. When they opened the car, disappointed they were. They didn't see the car key.
Wow.
They collected my phones, collected my shoes, collected my laptop, my bag, everything I had on me in the car. They took everything.
Wow.
And then they drove off.
Wow. Wow.
So after the incident, when I came out, my neighbors came out, Madam, what happened and all of that? I said, I don't really know what happened. I was just coming back from church, and that's exactly what happened. So my neighbor said, so where is the car key? I said, really? I don't know where the car key is.
Wow.
Maybe let's go back to the compound where I ran.
Woman was, yeah.
So they escorted me. Everybody came out, they escorted me. We now went into the compound with their torchlight, and then, you know, we looked around. Behold, the car key was just by the corner of the house.
Wow.
So it's just a miracle.
It's a miracle.
It's only God that can do that.
Yeah. Wow.
So I picked the key. They didn't allow me to drive. The car was ready. Everything, the glass, everything was shattered all over the car. So they now brought me back to the house, helped me open the gate. They went with the key, so I didn't know the opener. As at this time, my sister came back and met the incident.
Wow.
So she opened the gate, and then my neighbor helped me, drove the car into the compound, and then that was just it.
That was just the deliverance of God.
Yeah.
Remember, she was coming back from church. From church. And many people had walked into trouble just the same way in the evening. And who knows what their plan actually was, whether to pick the car or to kidnap. Yeah. We don't really know. But the main thing that is our concern is that God delivered her. That's what we are talking about today. God delivered her from all their plans. You know, when you are narrating this, I'm just picturing in my mind how worried, you know, fear, everything, running and all that.
And all of that. How even God the strength was just God.
Wow.
Because at the point I was like, why did I even run? I don't know why I ran.
Wow.
It was just God that asked me run. Because maybe if I had stood there,
Maybe they
of
would
course
have.
they would have either kidnapped me
Oh.
or still asked me to enter the car and go with the car, or just pushed me out and then go with the car. But I think it was just God. Like you said, I was in his presence for like 4 hours.
Wow.
Because the program started around 2 and we closed around past 6. So I was there all through, active participation, and then
God
say
came
God,
through.
God just did it the way he
came
did
through.
it.
He
Came
did
through
it
for me.
He did it the way that we can't explain.
Exactly.
Many persons have been kidnapped in front of their gates in this same manner, but her own case was different. Now you understand why I first of all told you how passionate she is about widows and those kind of people that love what God loves. Of course, God will always come through for them. I didn't hear her say she prayed any prayer, but all I knew is that she was coming from the presence of God. And if you ask her many more questions, you will understand that she has been doing things that have been pleasing to God, and God decided to deliver her on that particular day. So we are still here. My guest is Mrs Ediset Ekanem. She will share more testimonies. We'll still look at what God has done in her life. But right now, we'll go for a short commercial break once again. We'll be right back on Solace for the Hurting.
Solace for the hurting. Solace for the hurting. Solace for the hurting. My God is solace for the hurting. Solace for the hurting. Solace for the hurting. My God is.
You're welcome back to Solace for the Hurting. And I'm still here with my sister, Mrs Ediset Ekanem. And she has just told us briefly how God delivered her from what the enemy planned. Delivered her. And we're going to look at what she was doing prior to this time. What she was doing prior to this time. And you know, you said you were in church.
I was in church, yeah.
For over 4 hours.
4 hours. We had a program in church.
Actively involved in church. So if we were to say, oh, okay, maybe you were fasting and praying, it's not that,
It's
but
not
just
that.
that.
Yeah.
You were just in the presence of God and enjoying his presence.
Exactly.
And then God came through.
For me.
The thing is baffling to know that so many people had gone through this route and they didn't come out.
They didn't come out, exactly.
didn't.
They didn't come out. They didn't come out because the area where I lived, like you said, a lot of cars, kidnapping, armed robbery, so many incidents. Even the one that happened before my case, the lady also came back from church.
Wow.
Driving through the same road, they followed her up, and then just in the same story,
In front of her
she was
gates.
about opening her gates. They waited for her. As she drove in, they drove in with her.
Wow.
So I wouldn't say it's, I think it's just the mercy
It's
of
the
God.
mercy of God at work.
Because I might not be too righteous.
Of course.
I may not be too worthy than the other sister who also went to church and was
And
also
came
coming
back.
back. And they followed her up and they still made away with the car, collected the car, went to the house, packed everything.
Oh, wow.
But I think it's just God's
It's just God's
faithfulness.
favor. But at least they didn't hurt the lady.
They didn't hurt the lady. They just took the car, went to the house, collected a lot of things, and they drove off with the car.
Wow. Wow. We just noticed something. The Bible talks about God. You know, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous, they run into it and they are saved. Because at the point where you're facing the calamity, you might not even remember what to pray or what to shout or what to say. But because your hope and your faith is in God, he will certainly see you through. So once again, I want to engage you. At the point where you were running all this helter-skelter, what was busy going on in your mind?
Seriously, I don't know what took over me.
Wow.
Because at the point when I started running to when the whole scenario was over, I didn't know myself.
Wow.
Because at the point I fell, I got up and I ran again. I didn't know I had sustained
Injuries.
on my knee. I didn't feel the pains.
Wow.
It was after everything, when I got back home and the car and everything, that's when I know, this place is hurting.
Wow.
It was at that point I now remember, I fell down and I got up again and I continued running. Like you said, I didn't remember to pray, I won't lie. At that point, seriously, I think God just took control of everything.
God just took control of everything.
God just took from where it started till it ended. I really saw the hand of God in it.
And that's how I know that in that your situation and condition, God will take control and you will not be destroyed. No matter the plans of the enemy, you will not be destroyed. This is a case of God's deliverance and is a testimony. You are there, maybe your own is sickness or you are in dungeon, God will deliver you. Whatever it is, just know that God will deliver you. And I love it when she said for 4 hours she was just in church. And then she comes back to meet this. But God in his infinite mercy, many people had gone through this. They didn't, come out with palatable story. But in her own case, she came out, her car was not taken. Only the belongings were taken, which I know God will always provide. So the most important thing for me is that God came through for her and delivered her. They didn't, shoot her or do anything wrong to her. So we bless God for that. My sister is really a big testimony.
It is.
And we're excited to share with you today.
Yes, I am, because I know that a lot of people must have gone through that, but it didn't pull through for them. But in all, God is still faithful. God is still faithful. He's too faithful to fail. To those that look up to him and to him alone, he is always there with you. So that's the assurance I have. The Bible says that many are the afflictions of the righteous, but God will deliver them from all of them.
Wow.
Like you said, your case may not be my case. Maybe sickness, it may be business, it may be childbirth, it may be one problem or the other. But I want to assure you that don't lose hope. Keep your faith alive. Look up to Jesus and to him alone, because you don't understand what happened. You don't understand what happened that day.
Honestly, we're not there with you, so
you were not there
understand.
with me, so I think I don't even understand what happened.
Wow.
But God understands.
God saw everything.
God saw everything. He saw that he knew. He said, nothing takes him unawares.
Yeah.
He knows everything. So I want to encourage you out there that whatever the situation is, keep your faith alive with God. He is too faithful to fail those that put their hope and their trust in him. He will not put you to shame. He will not disappoint you. He will not allow you to be defeated. You will always be victorious in all your endeavors.
In all
your endeavors.
In all your endeavors. Thank you, my sister Ediset, for that wonderful testimony. And we believe you've been blessed listening to this wonderful testimony. I'm so much assured in my heart that you are delivered from that situation. I don't care what it is. You are delivered. Even if it's marital challenge, God is delivering you from it. God is making a way where there seems to be no way. Just believe in him. That destruction will not come near you, child of God. As God delivered our sister here, that's how God is going to deliver you from the shackles of the enemy. And you will come out victorious, ready to share your own testimony with us. And of course, that's how we'll call it a day, a wrap on this program today, Solace for the Hurting. Do join us same time next week. We'll be bringing fresh, brand new episodes of God's faithfulness and God's mercy and miracles in the life of men. Thank you for being part and parcel of Solace for the Hurting. You can write us. Our addresses are on the screen. You can write us, call us, send us those messages. We are here for you. Remember, it is Solace for the Hurting. We're lifting burdens. And I can assure you, God will lift your burden. See you. My name is Mrs Ekanem. Bye-bye.
Solace for the hurting. Solace for the hurting.